Hello everyone, I am very excited because today we are going to be sewing a barrel dress. So if you are a fan of the barrel leg pant, I think you're going to love this. Personally, I didn't think that this type of dress was for me, but I am going to be copying the style from a dress that I bought from this Colombian brand. So I bought the dress kind of thinking maybe it's not going to look so good, we'll see, and then in the end I loved it, and so now I'm going to be cloning it. And I also have a pattern suggestion if this is something that you're interested in. But I talked all about this in my last video, which was about my spring sewing plans. So let's just roll the tape. There is this dress on there that's called it's called like huevito dress. It's like a little egg dress because it does have that sort of like barrel shape to it. It's like a barrel shaped dress. I love this dress. Okay, amazing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to clone the dress and then we're going to create a wearable toile. So we're going to start with the burgundy fabric today. Also, I'm Vale. If you are new here, I make vlogs about sewing and living creatively in the Colombian countryside. So if that's something that interests you, subscribe and follow along. Okay, before I actually even start sewing, I have to do a little organization of my studio because I've been gone for a few weeks, so I haven't actually sewn in a little bit, and I recently took my machines back to Bogota before coming back here, so I have to unpack my machines, clean up my studio, put my laundry away, and I also went to the US recently, and I picked up a couple of sewing things. Like I picked up some extra clips, along with like some other notions and things. So I'm going to organize those. And last week, I made a video about all of my spring sewing plans. This was the first one. Like the dress I'm about to make was the first project on that list. But I have all of the fabric over here that I explained in that video. And so I have to put that away as well. So yeah, all that to say that there's a lot to do here before any sewing can happen. If you are a sewist, you probably understand this feeling, the cleanup feeling, let's reset everything before we embark on a new creative project. The other thing that I have to do is iron the dress. It's still a little wet, so maybe I'll set it outside for a little bit. But I need to iron the mock or the model that I'm going to copy because it is very wrinkled and it's a little damp. By the time I'm done cleaning up the studio, it'll be fine. But you can see this is the version that is in the canvas material. It's so cute. And I'm going to use this version because I did mention I have this in 2 colors. I'm going to use this version because it's a little thicker, and I am going to be using a piece of paper on top with like a sketch pencil to like copy each of the pieces. And this one is just a little thicker. The seam's a little thicker, so I think it's just going to transfer better. So I'm going to do that. And the cool thing about this is that I only have to trace one side because it's obviously a dress. It's duplicate on both sides. This is the little pleat that I mentioned. This is the one part that I'm a little bit wondering how I'm going to copy it because it does have this little sort of pleat moment here. I'm thinking of potentially just like spreading and slashing, if that makes sense, to get this. It's fine. It just has to be like, I'm just have to make it a little wider and then pleat it, right? Like this is not it's very forgiving, let's say that. So yeah, and it's got like a facing, all that stuff. So I'm gonna iron that and get that ready as well. And I'll see you when this is back to a reset level so we can get started with the cloning of this. Okay, we did it. I cleaned up the studio and I ironed this dress, and so now I'm ready to clone it. I'm also listening to this book, Strangers by Belle Burden. Have you read this book? Have you listened to this audiobook? It is crazy. It's a memoir. I tend not to read memoirs because I do think they're a little depressing because it's real, right? And I feel like as I'm listening to this, obviously it's a super fascinating, juicy story, so it just goes by really quickly. But also, I'm like getting angry. I'm like, this is a real man, and the audacity. Anyway, so I really recommend that book. I'm listening to it as I do this entire project, which is why I think I have this kind of fire inside me, because I'm like angry at this woman's husband, ex-husband. Anyways, so here's a dress. I saw this video on YouTube on how to clone an item of clothing. I've seen this before. I think the way that I've seen it before is people just usually lay it out on a piece of paper and then they try to just like, you know, trace it. I haven't really loved seeing that because I'm like, it doesn't feel accurate. It feels like there's parts of the design that are gonna be missing. I do think this dress is very forgiving, but in this other video, what they do is they lay out the piece of paper, or actually I think she uses a piece of muslin, but you can use paper. And she lays it out on the actual garment and then with pencil like sketches it out. So that's why I chose this particular material of this dress, even though I have it in another one, because this is thicker, so you'll be able to see that seam kind of pops out a little more, so it's easier to sketch it out. And then all I'll have to do is even it out. I will be evening this part out because I won't be copying the squiggle, so it'll be more straight. There's also interfacing, and not facing, facing. And this facing is just to give it a little more structure. Actually, if you notice, this has like some black on it. I wore it with like this mesh black top underneath one time, and it got stained. But I just have to give it another wash. I didn't wash it with like not much intensity. Anyway, so the facing is just the pattern piece. You cut another piece of the pattern piece, but shorter. So I'll show you when I do that, when I prep the pieces. But that's the piece on the inside. And then, as you can tell here in the back, there's pleating, which I think will make it a little bit difficult to trace. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace just the basic outline, and then I'm going to slash and spread it a little bit so that I can account for that little pleating that I'm going to do. What else? This has pockets, so I'm going to trace the pocket. Although in the version that I'm making in this video, I'm going to be using a cotton poplin because it's kind of like a sample. I want to just see if I like it, and then in the future I want to make another one. In the cotton poplin, I wouldn't put a pocket because I know that this is controversial, but I don't think every single dress actually looks good with a pocket, and I think a lot of it has to do with your fabric choice. In this canvas, a pocket, great, you can't even, because it's already so structured that the pocket doesn't feel bulky, right? Because it's just kind of hanging in there. Whereas with the poplin, the pocket gets stuck with the actual material, and it's just like, it looks bulky. So I know that everybody's always like, pockets, I make my own clothes so I can add pockets. I love that for you. And I do think that sometimes, personally, I don't like that because I don't like pockets every single time because sometimes they look bulky. So I'm going to trace the pocket, but I probably won't insert the pocket this go around, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's get going. I'm going to put my audiobook, that's pissing me off, again, and copy the pieces to this dress. And again, I only have to copy one side, obviously, because it's duplicated. So I'll just be copying the front side and then the back side. And then also it has spaghetti straps, but I don't have to copy for that. I know how to make a spaghetti strap. I probably just have to measure the length. I want to get the same length, so that's really all I'll do with the spaghetti strap. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, in the video, again, she uses kind of like a muslin. I don't have muslin, but I do have just a little bit of this paper. She needs to get more. I'm gonna go back to Bogota this week, so maybe I'll be able to pick up more paper. I don't have a ton. What I do have is rolled up paper from Patterns. So I could always get some more of that. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna need more paper. Okay, that's okay. I have some paper. Actually, maybe I have, should I just use the fabric method that they mentioned, where it's just like getting a piece of fabric and, let me figure this out. But regardless, I'll be fine. I have paper over there I can use. I have some of this paper. I'm just gonna start with this, see if it works, and then make a decision. Like, that's all I can do. Okay, I have my first pattern piece. It looks pretty accurate to me, actually. I can see the little curve. I can see the lines. I actually accidentally caught a different seam here. I don't know if you can see that. but that's okay. I fixed it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rulers and just kind of like even out the pattern. So just kind of give it like a clean line and then cut it out. There are parts where the pencil kind of went through, so I'm going to cut some paper out and like just really solidify that pattern. But that's pretty good. That's like, you know, a big part of the pattern done. And I kind of got a sense of how to use the pencil a little bit more. The important thing is that it catches that line, even if it's like a little faint, so that you can just go back and retrace it. So let's go ahead and even out this pattern. Okay, we did it. We have one piece, but it looks good. I like pushed it up against the dress and it looks accurate. I even added seam allowance. I originally forgot to do that. I just had the piece, and so that's why I had to tape it in the back. I had to add seam allowance, but I'm glad I did, because at first I was like, all right, whatever, I messed up, I don't have seam allowance, but I'm like, that in the future is going to be a problem. So I added seam allowance. So this is the front piece, and then you mirror it. So it's one piece and then two pieces. So that's the front. So I'm going to do the bottom of the front and then the back, and I'm going to do this off camera because you kind of understand the process I took here. So I'll show you when I have all the pieces. I ended up finding a little paper, so we're good to go. We're going to use paper. And yeah, I'll show you all the pieces when they're done. It's raining outside, so I gotta close up the windows, but yeah, I'm ready to jump back in. I finished this morning. I copied all of the back pieces. Here I have to slash and spread, so I identified where the pleat is right now. And the way that I see it, this is adding volume all the way down. So I'm gonna add about like 2 or 3 centimeters. I have to decide and look a little more closely to each one of these and have that volume go out, and then just keep those notches there so that I know this is where I'm gonna have to pleat. And hopefully that'll work. But again, this is like my trial video, right? I'm like playing around with this and experimenting a little bit. If this works though, like this means I can probably clone like so many of my clothes. So pretty exciting development there. This is also kind of an easy one to clone, so anyways, all that to say that I'm almost done here. So the reason I haven't slashed this yet is because I actually cut the facing. One thing about this dress is that even though the back is pleated, the facing in the back is the final size. So actually I think that that's really cool, because I know that the facing has to be this on the fold, right? And whatever pleat I end up doing to this has to match this, because this is the final size. So in that way, that facing is actually really cool for this process, because I can use it, again, as a little guide for myself. So anyway, I made the facing little piece. I have to mark this up so that it says on the fold. And then I will slash and spread this, probably about 2 centimeters on each one. Maybe a little more. We'll see. I'll show you when all the pieces are done. Okay, I've got all the pieces. Okay, so here we have the front. Okay, and here we have the bottom. This bottom, I looked at the entire dress. It's exactly the same in the front and the back. It's just mirrored. So for this one, we cut 4. So it's 4 of these. Then I have the front piece, the back piece, which I slash and spread. Boom. Cute. And, oh, the facing. The facing for the back, and I have the facing for the front around here somewhere. So I've got all the pieces. I am heading back to Bogota tomorrow because I have a dentist appointment. My jaw's completely dislocated. Maybe you notice it's kind of like leaning to the side. Anyways, I have an MRI. So I'm going to go do that. So what I'm going to do today is just cut the pieces of the fabric and serge all the pieces of the fabric. If I have a little time, maybe I'll just make the spaghetti straps, because I have all my ironing stuff here and I have a steamer in Bogota, so it's just a little more difficult. But yeah, I think maybe I'll do that. I'll make the straps, so have those kind of prepped and ready. And then I will cut all the fabric and serge all the fabric, so that when I get to Bogota, all I'm doing is uniting the pieces, right? which shouldn't be too bad. I mean, maybe I'll just stay up and finish it at that point. I don't know. We'll see how it goes today. It's about 5 p.m. I just finished work, and I'm going to get into it, cutting the pieces, and trying to prep as much as possible before I head out tomorrow. I mean, it would be nice to not have to take my machine because I hate lugging it, but at the same time, I want to finish this, so we'll see. Okay, let's get into it. Oh my gosh, my brain, I'm like all over the place at this time of day. I'm gonna cut the fabric. Okay, I have cut out all the pieces, and I have a plan. Hold on. Okay, so so this is like, there are two thoughts here. The first is that I have learned so much sewing the last few months. I've grown so much. I feel like, okay, so this is obviously a cloned piece, and I have the actual garment here so I can really look at it. So I think that that's definitely helping, but I do know certain things. I know how to put the garment together, in what order, what to serge or what to like finish in what order, so that I'm not doing double work or creating too much bulk. I know that when I flip the facing, I have to clip the fabric. Like, I know things that are gonna make this much better, that are actually pretty low lift. And then there are other things, and this is the second thought. There are things that I like to take my time with. I like to press every single seam. I'm definitely the kind of sewist, and this is my advice for everyone, is just write down a list of steps and follow them. And I know that sounds like duh, but like, that's the same thing with baking, and it's the same thing with cooking. There is a number of steps. Breaking, like sometimes in the actual pattern or recipe, right, you will get certain steps from the person who wrote it, and that doesn't necessarily make sense for you. So like, you have to maybe write that down and more, break it down into bigger steps. And like, for example, if something says gather, the fabric, that I know what that means now, but at first I had to be like, do the like, stitch, do like lengthen the thing, like lengthen your machine up, gather the thing, then draw the thing, then clip it into fours, right? Like, I had to break down that one step into many more steps for myself. But once I had them in those steps, I just follow the steps, like 1, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like don't overcomplicate it, but scaffold it for yourself, right? Sort of say, these are the little steps that I need, but I have my little checklist, and if I just do it this way every single time, even if it's not perfect, right? Like, even if you're baking a cake and it's not perfect, it's still butter and sugar and heat and frosting, like, it's still delicious. Like, even if your garment is not perfect, doing those little steps, you're gonna get a pretty good result, and you're gonna get good really fast. Anyways, not to go on. Oh my gosh, and I wasn't like even talking to that's how passionate I was. I was like, just like, you need to hear this, okay? So just break it down into steps. So that's what I did for myself here. So I'm gonna follow those steps. However, I'm a little short on time, and I'm spending it here talking about like steps. So what I actually am gonna have to be okay with today is that I might not be able to like iron down every seam. I might not be able to do these little things that I know are gonna get me a better result, but that's okay, because I'm kind of on this roll and I want to get this sewn, and I'm feeling excited about it. So not that I'm not going to iron. I'm just like, I'm such a like iron rule follower. I iron every single step, and I'm like, okay, today you don't have time to do that. You're just going to sew and serge and iron at the end, and like, that's it. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with okay, let's see, where am I starting? Okay, I'm starting with attaching the facing to, oh wait, no, that's not what I'm doing. I deleted my steps. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the front. I'm going to attach the front pieces to each other, the back pieces to each other, and I'm going to serge down the middle of both of those. So that's kind of the process that I'm taking, is I'm kind of building the front and the back separately, and at the end I will join them. So that's going to be true throughout. I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to probably make the spaghetti straps just so that they're ready. And yeah, so I'm going to get to sewing. I'm probably also not going to do as many check-ins because, again, like, time. But I think it's going to come together pretty quick, so let's go. So this is the front. Cute, right? I messed up and I didn't put the straps in. I have the straps ready, but I forgot to put it in. It's pretty easy though. I can just kind of seam rip it and put it in there, and that's kind of what it's gonna look like. But I think it's looking really cute. I mean, I have to iron it and, you know, do a little, what's that called? Top stitching, so that it kind of falls a little more neatly on the back. But I think it's looking really cute. I'm not going to take it to Bogota. I was going to take it to Bogota because I'm heading out there tomorrow, but I'm only going for a few days for this MRI, so I will be back in a few days. So I'm just not going to like make a mess of it. You know, I'm going to just wait to come back. But I'm really loving how it's looking. Like, it's looking very much like the inspo, you know? And this also gives me some time. Oh, this is what the inside looks like. I also put the facing in. Like, it looks really, really nice. Yeah, I didn't change my serger thread. I like never change my serger thread. But all the pieces are kind of coming together. I really just have to put the straps in and then do the pleating in the back. That's kind of the other thing I'm avoiding, is the pleating in the back. So that's why I'm just like gonna wait to come back because I need the iron. Anyways, I will see you then. Okay, we are back. My jaw is fucked. But anyways, that is beside the point. We are back to sewing and back to finishing this dress, which is super exciting because it's coming out so cute. I was thinking about it all weekend. Not really all weekend. I've been gone 2 days and it's Saturday. But anyways, I've been thinking about it because I think it's looking really, really cute. And I came back and all I had to do was put in the strap. So I did that off camera. As you can tell, I took that squiggle out because I'm not trying to take anybody's creativity. This is a pretty standard barrel dress, okay? So we are going to finish the back. Here's what we need to do in the back that I have never done before, which is a pleat. I'm like pretty proud of myself because I think my skills have gotten really good in the last few months with sewing, but I am still a pretty new sewist. Like, I think I've gotten really good at what I can do. Like, I even top stitched this part because I'm like, oh, we're gonna do the details now that we have a little more time. So it's like little things like that I've really picked up, and that's helped me a lot. And again, I haven't been sewing that long. And so I still have a couple things that I'm not necessarily, I've never done. Okay, I've never done. I don't know if I'm good at them or not because I've never done them. So what I need to do in the back is I need to do a pleat. And I marked where the pleat happens. I just didn't carry that notch over because I don't know why. I think I was in a rush. But I need to do this pleat right here. And you can kind of see it in this white dress. And so I did mark because remember I slashed and spread. Let me make sure you can see that. Yeah. I slashed and spread the pattern, remember? So that I could get an extra little bit. And this one right here, this pleat is 3 centimeters when I put my finger in. So I added 6 centimeters. And then here it's kind of the same idea. It's a 1 centimeter pleat. Oh, this is 3, this is 3, this is 1. This one right here is 1, and this one right here is 1. Yeah, because it like doubles. And so because this is 1 centimeter pleat, I added 2 centimeters. Does that make sense? Because when it folded over, you needed that. Anyway, that's how it made sense in my head. I'm thinking that that's the right way to do it, but again, I just measured it with my finger. So anyways, this dress is pretty forgiving, okay? I think that this is why it's a good dress to try this out on. But I'm going to pleat that according to the notches. So I'm going to just lay this back out on the back of the dress, mark those little notches of where the pleat goes. So I have this little thing right here that says like 1 centimeter pleat here. This one was over here, 3 centimeter pleat here. Yeah, and this is just one side of the pattern, only for the doubles. So I've got the 1 centimeter pleat here and then the 3 centimeter pleat here. So I have to make sure I just mark that and then kind of iron it down. I think that that's what I'm gonna do. And I've never done a pleat again. I should look up a video of how to do a pleat. Like, I feel like it's not that, but I think it's also pretty obvious. Like, all I'm doing is ironing it down, right? Like pulling it in, ironing it, pulling it in, ironing it, and then holding it with some pins and then sewing over it, right? And then I'm gonna have to put the facing on it. So I think that that's, anyways, let's give it a shot. Also, I'm watching Project Runway, and I somehow got access to this using my sister's Prime account. I didn't know that. Anyways, I had to use a VPN, but yeah, nothing better than watching Project Runway while you're sewing, and it's like a brand new season, and now I've unlocked like 10 seasons I haven't seen. So it's just gonna get like so real. Like when I need to lock in, I put the show on. I'm like, okay, it's time to become a fashion designer, truly. Okay, look at this pleating. It looks really good. I feel like for my first time. Yeah, I love it. Okay, hold on. So this one right here is the larger one, and this one is the shorter one. I messed that up in the pattern somehow. I don't know why. So I don't know if that's gonna mess up anything, so hopefully not. And I did get like a little part here that you can kind of see. You could see the serge because I hadn't sewn far enough from the edge here, and I'm also using white serger thread, which is like probably the reason you shouldn't do that, but I refuse to change my serger thread for some reason. Anyways, this is looking good. I'm going to sew this down, and then I'm going to try to attach this facing, and hopefully it fits because I made a few alterations to it. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna fit, and then that will really be the back of the dress. That was like the most complicated part. After that, I can just join the two pieces together, but I'll show you when this part is done. Okay, look at her. The back is done, and oh my gosh, the pleating looks so good. Hold on, let me lower this. Yeah, oh, I'm so excited. It came out looking so good, and the fabric has enough weight to it where it's feeling like expensive, which I love. And so now all I have to do is sew these side seams together and serge it, and then give everything a nice iron, and then hem it. So yeah, like it's really coming together. I think I'm just going to show you when it's done because there really isn't that much to do, and I'm kind of feeling in the groove, in a flow state. So yeah, oh my gosh, it's so cute. I'm gonna make like 1,000 of these. I am so excited. Okay, side seams, then serge, iron, and hem, and then that's it. We're done. Nice.
Make it crazy. Isn't it weird? It's pretty weird.
We are done. It looks so good. I'm so happy with this. It does need a couple of things, a few details. I need to iron it. Like I need to give everything a very good press. And then I also need to finish hemming it. I serged the bottom and evened out the hem. So it's just ready for a couple, like a little fold over hem. Pretty simple. But the sun is going down, so I wanted to just sort of show you the final result. And then I'll show you the final result, which is like me wearing it and stuff. But I am so happy with how it turned out. It looks really just like, I don't know, like the material is luxurious. I took the extra step to top stitch the facing so it's falling so nicely, and the curve is looking good. I think with the curve I need a really serious iron, but yeah, it's looking really good. Let me give you a closer look. See, I need to like finish that hem, but other than that, she looks good. It's so cute.